In the ancient world of 660 BC, two great civilizations stood watch under a single, ominous sky. The Assyrians and the Greeks, separated by continents yet united in their awe and dread, gazed upwards as celestial fires tore across the heavens. This was no ordinary spectacle. It was a cosmic drama playing out above their heads, a display so fierce and vibrant that it transcended the realms of natural wonder into the fabric of divine omen. As the auroras painted the night with hues of blood and gold, whispered fears grew into proclamations, shaping the decisions of kings, guiding the hands of priests and sowing the seeds of myth and legend that would endure for millennia. This is the story of the skies that spoke to ancient hearts and the people who trembled beneath their fiery gaze. Let us embark on a journey back to 660 BC, when the heavens ignited with fiery hues, casting both awe and terror over the lands of Assyria and Greece. This celestial spectacle, both magnificent and unsettling, spread through whispers carried across two continents. Not merely a fracture in the night, it was a rending of the celestial fabric, transforming the familiar world beneath into landscapes of wonder and fear. This narrative reveals the complex tapestry where astronomical phenomena, mythology, and everyday life intersected, setting the stage for a remarkable chapter in history. Hidden within the Babylonian Chronicle, etched on ancient clay tablets, lies a vivid account of this celestial event. These cuneiform inscriptions immortalise the awe-inspiring auroras, depicted with colourful language that speaks to a divine inferno. To the Assyrians, this was not simply a natural spectacle, but a divine message, a missive from the gods themselves. The meticulous scribes and observant astronomers of Assyria documented these events with great care, seeing in them omens that could influence the fate of nations, hinting at divine displeasure or favour. Rulers such as Ashurbanipal perceived these fiery skies as celestial communications that must be heeded. The chronicles of these events were more than mere records. They vibrated with the pulse of societal belief systems, weaving the auroras into the very fabric of Assyrian law and political life. The implications of interpreting these cosmic displays extended beyond mere curiosity, wielding the power to steer the course of history itself. Across the Aegean Sea, the Greeks too were entranced by this unexpected display. Oral traditions transformed these heavenly wonders into stories that merged awe with admonition. It was believed the gods spoke through these celestial encounters, embedding their intentions within the mortal realm. For the Greeks, the auroras were breaths of the Titans, or manifestations of Athena, and poets and philosophers became chroniclers, casting these occurrences into the mould of legend. Through epic tales and public recitations, the Greeks interwove these events with heroic feats and moral teachings, reinforcing cultural values and spiritual beliefs. Unlike the Assyrians, who saw divine omens, the Greeks embroidered these phenomena into a mythic narrative, creating a dialogue between gods and mortals. This blend of history, myth and faith was performed under the dance of fiery skies, showing the grace of cosmic order, the whims of Olympian deities, and mortal responses. Amidst these shared experiences, Assyrians and Greeks lived under the glow of these breathtaking auroras, each civilization processing the experience in its unique way. In cities like Nineveh, the Assyrian skyline was dotted with ziggurats, where priests would interpret celestial messages that resonated with the population. The auroras, though disruptive, were seamlessly integrated into their cosmology, reinforcing their belief in a universe intimately connected to their lives. Meanwhile, in Hellenistic city-states, life echoed with Homer's hymns. The daily routine paused for cosmic viewing as debates flourished beneath the same stunning skies, with grids of philosophers and artisans fueling fresh dialogue. Greek auroras became luminous symbols, illuminating divine qualities of the heavens and becoming entwined with human creativity. Fear and awe intermingled as societies processed these ethereal messages, instigating profound reactions. Terrified of celestial ire, the Assyrians committed to rituals intended to appease their gods. Within temple precincts and royal courts, incantations, sacrifices, and prayers unfolded beneath celestial flames, actions of faith designed to deter lurking misfortune. These practices, born of both fear and reverence, offer a glimpse into the human drive to commune with the divine. The Greeks, too, approached with vigour, yet their responses leaned into philosophical musings instead of outright ritual. Gatherings under the Auroras spurred philosophical debate and public discourse, turning fear into civic opportunity. These gatherings allowed for the communal shaping of ideas and mythologies, enlightening pathways within the Greek psyche from trepidation to inspiration. In this convergence of fear and wonder, testimonies emerge echoing a shared human reaction to natural mysteries. The skies bridged not only earthly experiences, but also cosmic interactions, prompting expressions of identity, from fear-driven appeasements to revelations of destiny. This shared human condition, oscillating between dread and delight, continues in how we perceive and interact with celestial phenomena today. The legacy of these ancient auroras transcends tales of cosmic wonder, remaining a saga of perpetual enlightenment. Inscribed on tablets, whispered in stories, and immortalised in epics, these events shaped not just empires, but extended their influence through time. The enduring fascination and the vibrant interpretations still captivate modern imaginations, connecting us with the seekers who first marvelled at those extraordinary skies. As we gaze upwards, we join a timeless community, bound by the sky's ethereal embrace, sharing its endless legacy, a universal narrative that resonates across the ages. In the twilight of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, royal astrologers assembled on the Grand Terrace, their eyes fixed on the cosmos, deciphering an unfolding celestial manuscript. These starlit guardians held sway in the imperial court, their interpretations steering the destinies of nations, whispering through shadows of stars and planets. Their task was sacred. It served as a conduit between the earthly realm and the heavens. Kings leaned heavily on their counsel, believing celestial alignments dictated the fortunes of kingdoms, guiding choices of conflict or concord. With tools fashioned from bronze and etched clay, these astrologers peered deeply into the celestial expanse. Each astral event was like a divine soliloquy. Eclipses might foretell doom, while comets could herald rebirth. The shimmering auroras, casting their iridescent dance across the night sky, carried messages of weighty significance, omens inscribed in luminescence, words from deities to be interpreted by human eyes. The Venus tablet of Amisaduqa stands as a remarkable relic of this dialogue between Earth and the divine, a time when Venus was more than a celestial object. It was a divine communicator. These tablets were not mere records, they were sacred scripts, translating divine signals into earthly action. Over the years, these texts meticulously documented the cyclical dance of Venus, each entry hinting at droughts, abundance, or impending wars. The movement of Venus was perceived as a celestial language speaking directly to the hearts and minds of rulers. During times of looming warfare, the empire turned to the stars, reading signs as omens of trust or treachery. Astrologers interpreted celestial phenomena as indicators of impending conflicts or reconciliations. Eclipses, heavenly alignments, and fiery auroras foretold skirmishes, and siege before they materialised on the battlefield. Kings interpreted these signs with the belief that their actions were sanctioned by divine forces, the fates of empires teetering on the alignment of stars. Yet, the celestial realm also spoke of peace, bestowing promises of harmony when the stars danced in gentle accord. Venus's passage or a comet's serene trail across the sky could signal prosperity or the return of lost kin. The stars served as a celestial compass, guiding rulers' hands towards treaties, decrees, and the bridging of ancient rivalries under auspicious skies. These narratives found life among royal edicts and inscriptions, marking when stars favoured peace over war. Priests stood as intermediaries, voices bridging the divine with the mundane, their souls tuned to the celestial whispers that danced across the skies. They orchestrated rituals, meticulously aligned with celestial happenings, ensuring that each plea and offering resonated with the eternal canopy above. The partnership between priests and astrologers was symbiotic, a union of spiritual insight and empirical observation. Their cooperation breathed life into rituals that sought divine favour, rituals that painted a cosmic narrative, understood by all. The ancient world was a stage where celestial omens inspired rites, ceremonies blossoming in reaction to the sky's arcane language. Priests and scribes dedicated themselves to these interpretations, seeking meaning in light and darkness, ready to pacify or petition the gods. Communities gathered at altars, partook in the dance of devotion, reacting to whispers from the stars perceived as guides through life's tumultuous journey. The heavens, vast and intricate, were like a celestial scroll, its symbols waiting to be deciphered. These ancient interpreters, learned in the language of stars, amassed generations of wisdom, understanding cosmic choreography as a narrative of divine intention. Their insights guided leaders, shaped epochs, and wove a tapestry connecting time and space, grounding humanity's steps in the rhythms of the universe's heartbeat. Across civilizations, from the opulent halls of Assyria to the philosophical enclaves of Greece, celestial phenomena wove a common narrative, underpinning societal beliefs and practices. From Mesopotamian temples to Grecian forums, the stargazers spoke a language understood beyond borders, a celestial dialogue leading to decrees and decisions under the grand canopy of heaven. Within this cosmic dialogue lay symbols and meanings, a glossary where celestial movements mirrored earthly narratives. Alignments marked synchronicity, while deviations foretold upheaval, shaping the actions of kings and commons alike. Societies interpreted these heavenly hieroglyphs through verbal and artistic expressions, embedding them in myths that shaped culture. The echoes of these celestial legacies continue to resonate through time, leaving a profound imprint on modern understanding. As ancient peoples pondered and recorded the heavens, they passed down a heritage of wonder, a legacy urging us to gaze beyond ourselves, to heed the cosmic mysteries whispered through the ages. Today we stand in their shadow, our curiosity ignited by the same celestial forces, embracing our role as stewards of the astral mysteries they first dared to unravel. In the ancient Neo-Assyrian Empire and archaic Greece, the night sky was far more than just a starry expanse. It guided daily life, creating a rhythm that dictated everything from sowing seeds to celebrating victories. Agrarian societies relied on the positions and movements of stars to plan their agricultural activities. The rising of Sirius, for instance, foreshadowed the Nile's inundation, an eagerly anticipated event for those whose lives depended on its fertile banks. In Assyria, priests stood atop ziggurats, those massive stepped platforms doubling as celestial observatories and sanctuaries, aligning the festivals and daily life with the heavens above. The Greeks, not to be outshone, sang of their gods in Homeric hymns, illuminating constellations with tales of divine authority. Eclipses or rare constellations weren't just astronomical events, they were messages from the gods, capable of halting life with their profound implications. These societies intertwined worship and work, understanding the divine as both a guide and a governor of moral compasses. Both Assyria and Greece saw the cosmos as a vast theatre, where humanity's dramas played out under the divine scrutiny of the eternal audience above. Agriculture, the backbone of their civilizations, was inseparable from celestial cycles. Assyrian farmers performed key rituals during festivals such as the Akitu, invoking the watchful eye of Asher for the prosperous rejuvenation of land. Earthly and heavenly cycles synchronized in ceremonial fervor. Each seed sown in fields mirrored a prayer whispered to the heavens. Conversely, Greek farmers celebrated the Thesmophoria in Demeter's honour, blending human endeavour with cosmic order to ensure fertile lands and families. In this agrarian chorus, hermits relied on Hermes for his flock's fate, a practical blend where shepherding was linked to the sky's seasonal symphony. Family life operated under a similar celestial influence. In Assyrian homes, everything resonated with cosmic harmony, from lighting the evening lamps to welcoming new life amidst chants tied to the starry realm. Fires blazed with invocations to household deities, illuminating the path set by the infinite cosmos above. Stars foretold personal destinies, casting an aura of the divine over mundane chores and milestone celebrations alike. The Greeks, in turn, maintained sacred hearths where the goddess Hestia reigned supreme. Astrology began to influence decisions within homes, marking personal milestones with the blend of Babylonian wisdom and Greek tradition. In these devout households, life was but a vivid strand in a grand celestial tapestry. Commerce and trade also unfolded under the watchful gaze of celestial bodies. Assyrian traders, reliant on the precision of star navigation, embarked on journeys across vast networks, carving pathways into the unknown with the stars as their compass. Orion's belt guided merchants with ancient, unerring wisdom, while clay tablets bore witness to economic stability, shaped by celestial patterns. Greek mariners ventured upon the Mediterranean, trusting constellations to guide them through turbulent waters, imbuing their ventures with the myths of seafaring heroes like Odysseus. The celestial rhythm orchestrated these endeavours, ensuring prosperity was woven with the fabric of the skies. The priesthood, central in both cultures, interpreted heavenly will from the divine press of the stars. Assyrian priests, part scientists and part seers, read the night sky like a text, unravelling messages to guide emperors in politics and prophecy. In their chambers, where heaven's voices resounded among clay tablets, these scholars moulded destiny itself. Greek priests and oracles wielded similar authority, channeling Apollo's insights through celestial alignments that defined public life and policy. They stood as bridges between mortal endeavours and the divine stage. Celestial events inspired grand festivals where light and life intertwined beautifully. The Assyrians marked illuminations with feasts and temple sacrifices, seeking favour and guidance under the eternal dome. Whether royalty or commoners, such celebrations encouraged participants to unify earthly existence with heaven's grandeur, whispering hopes into the night's vast corridors. In Greece, the Panathenaea celebrated Athena's birth with torchlit races across the Acropolis. Through brilliant pageantry, these festivals relived the cosmic connection, knitting communities in celestial homage. The heavens also served as cryptic prophets of weather, with erratic auroras and eclipses perceived as omens, foretelling fortunes or calamities. In Assyria, these celestial whispers guided agricultural preparations and societal moods, a delicate balance of fear and respect that anchored human endeavours. The Greeks interpreted these skybound messages as forecasts of divine will, binding communities in shared rituals as thunderstorms loomed and eclipses danced across their world. Weather omens framed the divine interplay between earth and sky, warning, guiding, and fostering community resilience. Under this vast celestial panorama, children learned from narratives scattered across the cosmos. In both Assyria and Greece, mythology met astronomy in tales told under the stars, tools for passing down values of bravery, morality, and intellect. Assyrian children learned their virtues through heroic sagas, while Greek youth absorbed Homer's epics, forming links between celestial guiding lights and worldly teachings. The stars served as ancient tutors, shaping dreams and destinies with their shimmering presence. In these societies, living under the stars was an embrace of the cosmos, a life both practical and poetic. In the heart of ancient Babylon, under a sky filled with secrets, a group of dedicated priests stood vigil as the Euphrates River glided silently by and the towering ziggurats cast long shadows in the moonlight. These were the Chaldeans, the astronomers of Mesopotamia, guardians of knowledge hidden within the celestial sphere. Night after night they gazed upward, interpreting the cosmos not just for scientific inquiry, but as divine decree. Stars were their ink on clay tablets inscribed with celestial events, eternally capturing the ebb and flow of the heavenly bodies. These night watchers held positions of reverence, their role essential in the divine theatre governing empires. Their nightly observations demanded precision and patience. Babylonian astronomers could predict lunar eclipses and map planetary paths with astonishing accuracy for their time. King Ashurbanipal understood this well, amassing a vast library of these celestial archives to secure his reign through perceived divine blessing. In painstaking detail, they recorded data that transcended spiritual interpretation, laying the foundation for genuine scientific inquiry. What they preserved in clay tablets spoke to humanity's eternal quest to discern the patterns of the sky, a pursuit that has continued unabated through the ages. Across the Aegean Sea, in the coastal city of Miletus, another figure stood beneath the stars with a different purpose. Thales, one of Greece's 7 sages, turned to the heavens with a mind unburdened by divine explanations, seeking the universe's truths through reason. His prediction of a solar eclipse altered not only the course of a war, but also brought about a new way of thinking, one where natural laws could unravel mysteries once cloaked in myth. Thales pioneered a shift that would ripple through Greek philosophy, emphasizing the cosmos as a realm governed by logic rather than law. This revolutionary step paved a path where celestial phenomena were no longer seen solely as supernatural, but part of a comprehensible universe. The world of astronomy in ancient times was a tapestry woven with strands of both divination and observation, balancing the mystical with the empirical. Mesopotamian astronomers interpreted the cosmos as divine missives, their insights moulding imperial strategies. Celestial events were seen as narratives to be deciphered, omens filled with promises or curses. Meanwhile, in Greece, philosophers imparted a new understanding, suggesting human reason could decipher the celestial, albeit with opposition from traditional seers and oracles. This divergence of thought signalled a pivotal transformation. The sky became both a divine oracle and a frontier of human curiosity. The cuneiform chronicles of Mesopotamia captured these celestial narratives extensively. Clay tablets, preserved against time, chronicled the cosmic dance with mathematical precision. The Enuma Anu Enlil, a comprehensive record, offered astrological and astronomical insights over centuries, blending guidance with divine essence. The analytical edge in these chronicles foreshadowed the scientific rigour seen in later eras, where mythology, mathematics and observation converged in pursuit of understanding the universe. Yet the pursuit of knowledge required tools, ingenious inventions crafted for star-studded nights. Ancient night watchers, though lacking telescopes, used the gnomon to trace time and the bewitching dance of stars, while primitive star clocks served as rudimentary celestial timers. Such instruments, though simple, were born from necessity and a vibrant thirst for discovery. They reflect humanity's intrinsic desire to reach beyond earthly bounds and decipher the sky's mysterious script. Throughout history, astronomy straddled the line between empirical inquiry and spiritual insight, with Mesopotamian astronomers recording celestial movements as divine narratives. This coexistence of fact and faith created a worldview where stars served as guides for both rulers and priests. Meanwhile, in Greece, philosophy steered towards reasoned explanations, challenging mystical interpretations. Figures like Thales etched the path for a natural philosophy where the heavens proposed questions for human intellect to solve, marking a critical shift toward future scientific endeavours. Ancient observatories, temples dedicated to the skies, provided sanctuaries for celestial exploration. Babylon's ziggurats doubled as astronomical sites, lifting viewers closer to the divine firmament. In Greece, sacred hills hosted similar observatories, becoming spiritual and intellectual havens. Their existence underscored the profound link between the metaphysical and the empirical, allowing observers to blend faith with the emerging pursuit of knowledge. Greek philosophical thought, epitomized by the School of Athens, encapsulated the union of celestial observation and inquiry. Philosophers like Pythagoras, Plato, and Aristotle connected cosmic harmonies with philosophical speculation. Their ideas form the bedrock of astronomical understanding, introducing mathematical order and reshaping theories about the cosmos. Their work bridged empirical observations with theoretical discourse, influencing scientific thinking for centuries to come. Visions of the sky might have varied between Mesopotamia and Greece, but their contributions were synergistic. Mesopotamian astronomers provided detailed celestial records entwined with religion, serving as a foundation for mathematical calculations. Greek thinkers pursued secular understanding through observation and reason, crafting models of the universe informed by geometric ideals. This cultural exchange enriched the collective knowledge of the stars, fostering a shared legacy of wonder and exploration that stretches into modern astronomy and beyond. The echoes of ancient astronomers resonate still, their relentless pursuit of celestial understanding forming the bedrock of contemporary discovery. Traditions and insights from Babylonian tablets and Greek philosophy fueled the endeavours of future astronomers, bridging eras with unyielding curiosity. Their heritage endures in today's quests for cosmic understanding, testament to humanity's unbroken chain of exploration, and awe before the infinite expanse of the heavens. As darkness cloaked the ancient world, the absence of artificial light transformed night into a theatre where flickering fires cast shadows and storytellers conjured worlds between their flames. In the ancient realms of Assyria and Greece, the auroras of 660 BC blazed across skies, igniting visions of gods and monsters entwining the heavens and earth. These gatherings went beyond mere storytelling. They were how history, morality, and identity were passed down. The awe-inspiring displays stirred tales infused with fear and wonder, echoing humanity's eternal quest to find meaning in the unknown and terrifying. Gazing at the fiery dance in the sky, ancient peoples reinterpreted myths around these celestial phenomena. In firelit rooms or under the vast expanse of stars, figures like Hesiod painted pictures of creation and chaos. His work Theogony reflected a universe where cosmic battles and divine hierarchies determined fate. In Assyria, gods like Ashur and Ishtar reigned supreme, directing the world and its people. The Greeks and Assyrians used tales of divine intervention and mythical lore to understand and endure their world, eerily illuminated by the Auroras. In both cultures, storytellers were revered, preserving oral traditions and enriching them with new interpretations. Greek rhapsodes like Homer intertwined epic tales with historical events against a backdrop of supernatural wonders. Orators infused the inexplicable celestial occurrences with new vigour, weaving familiar legends with each astonishing aurora. In Assyria, temple priests and scribes added their expertise to the oral myths, their tales carrying society's beliefs more powerfully than written texts. Audiences were transported as these narrators fused daily life with cosmic events, turning auroras into moments of divine revelation. The ancients saw the sky not as an emptiness, but as a realm where gods and mythical creatures played. Auroras were celestial curtains, announcing divine dramas. Hesiod and others imbued the heavens with character and intent, presenting auroras as divine messages. Greek gods like Zeus and Athena enacted cosmic theatric displays, conveying celestial events as edicts from the heavens. In Assyria, starry realms mirrored terrestrial worlds, with deities like Ashur conducting the heavenly orchestra. Understanding these tales through the gods' lens, people saw the skies as a stage where auroras carried divine narratives of authority and caution. Across these lands, the imagination stirred darkly as auroras flickered. Monstrous figures like Typhon, a formidable offspring of Gaia and Tartarus, ascended alongside the light, menacing the cosmic order established by the gods. In Assyria, chaos and destruction were often depicted as dragons in tales. As the auroras gleamed, stories of creatures rising beyond corporeal forms took life, highlighting a universal struggle against chaos. These shared narratives reflect a deep human connection to myth as a means of confronting the vast unknown, forming communal experiences of collective fear and resilience. The auroras inspired prophetic interpretations, becoming woven into divination practices. Greek seers, or mantes, read auroras as reflections of divine moods, akin to oracular revelations. In Assyria, astrological practices entwined with celestial observations, as auroras portended cosmic favour or calamity, influencing governance. Across these cultures, mastery over interpreting auroras wielded considerable influence. Prophecies reflecting royal fortunes and societal fates extended auroras beyond their visual spectacle to essential instruments of diplomacy and assurance. Within the auroral glow, transformation tales found fertile ground. Greek mythology spun stories of characters like Arachne, turned into a spider by Athena. Their narratives infused with the aurora's symbolism of renewal and judgment. Assyrian myths echoed this, highlighting heroes whose transformations spoke of divine favour and cosmic harmony. These tales demonstrated moral insights, projecting personal and collective transformation through auroras and connecting cultures through shared understandings. Oral traditions became the carriers of these stories down the ages, preserving the essence of myths across centuries. families and communities, despite wars and migrations, safeguarded these stories through generations. As scribes began documenting these ephemeral visions, the preservation of auroral tales extended tangibly across clay and ink, uniting Assyrian and Greek narratives. This convergence reflects humanity's unyielding allure for explaining life's mysteries, echoing the Aurora's significance through history and culture. The communal warmth around these stories fostered unity, bonding societies through the shared marvel of celestial phenomena. Auroras lit the skies, marking festivals and reinforcing cosmic connections that cemented cultural identity. The myths woven into these phenomena fashioned shared memory and belief systems within Greek and Assyrian communities, building a legacy as enduring as the auroras themselves. Ultimately, the auroras of ancient times left an indelible mark on storytelling traditions, inspiring tales through the ages. Their imprint resonates in Western cosmology and myth, influencing literature from Goethe to Wagner and enriching narratives such as Tolkien's. In Assyrian heritage, echoes of these stories endure through evolution, reflecting how ancient tales adapt within storytelling lineages, ever tracing back to those luminous arcs across ancient skies. Such celestial storytelling, forever etched into human legacy, reminds us of the timeless impact of the night sky's alchemy, shining forth across history's tapestry. Though ages pass, the aurora's glow kindles enduring curiosity, guiding humanity through the boundless wonder of existence. In a time when the heavens were both oracle and enigma, the ancients peered skyward, seeking meaning in the luminous phenomena above. Rulers and priests in Mesopotamia and Greece envisioned the celestial canvas as divine script, where every fiery aurora or errant comet conveyed the whims of gods. These celestial displays dictated earthly destinies, cementing the priests as divine intermediaries, channeling messages that fortified the social and political structures of their societies. The readings of these astral events became woven into the intricate tapestry of daily life, where rituals and sacrifices secured the favour of the celestial. Amidst this divine narrative, in the city-states of eastern Greece, a new light began to dawn. Early philosophers like Anaximander challenged these cosmic decrees from on high, daring to unravel the mysteries of the universe through observation and logical deduction. Anaximander envisioned a world untethered from divine pillars, proposing instead that natural laws governed the earth. Such radical ideas planted seeds of skepticism about the gods' monopoly on celestial mechanics, nurturing a schism between the ancient divine order and a burgeoning rationalism. In this world defined by a divine drama played out among the stars, omens were potent harbingers of fate. A display in the night sky could spell disaster or divine wrath upon kings and empires. Communities scan the heavens for signs, interpreting streaks of light as celestial narratives, stories of fortune or peril. But alongside these portents arose a more tempered perspective. Observers began cataloguing these celestial wonders systematically, recording patterns and attempting to comprehend the natural laws that govern these spectacles. This quiet yet persistent inquiry marked a pivotal shift from divine to scientific explanations, laying the groundwork for future generations' pursuit of astronomical order. Anaximander's musings, daring in their scope, envisioned a cosmos governed by apeiron, the infinite cosmic substance. He posited that celestial phenomena were not the playing cards of capricious gods, but manifestations of universal processes. This thinking inspired others, beckoning philosophers like Pythagoras and Heraclitus to continue exploring the universe through logic and inquiry. Anaximander's ideas, though nestled in their era, reverberated across time, sowing the seeds for a scientific approach that sought to reveal the harmony amidst the stars' apparent chaos. In Mesopotamia, celestial events were seen as divine messages, with gods casting their light as omens. Astronomers, under the priesthood's watchful eyes, carefully recorded these occurrences, informing decisions that rippled through society. Across the sea, the Greeks balanced on the cusp between myth and reason, where divine narrative began to mingle with burgeoning rationality. The Greeks composed myths embroidered with celestial symbolism, yet philosophers increasingly detached these phenomena from divine narratives, seeking empirical explanations instead. This tension between entrenched mythology and emerging scientific thought shaped Greece's intellectual landscape, nurturing a nascent culture of inquiry. The intellectual trail blazed by Anaximander encouraged others like Thales and Pythagoras to further unravel cosmic mysteries. Thales, notably predicting a solar eclipse, and Pythagoras, exploring cosmic harmony through mathematics, underscored a monumental shift. Their work embodied a courageous pursuit of knowledge that gradually peeled back the heavens' divine veil, revealing a universe governed by discernible laws. Through this era of enlightenment, ancient writings surfaced as crucial records of celestial interpretation. Mesopotamian cuneiform tablets and Greek scrolls captured the intricate dance between divine or narrative and empirical observation. These texts charted the ancients' journey as they tried to harmonize inherited divine accounts with natural laws, fostering an early dialogue that allowed traditional beliefs and observational wonder to coexist. Such inscriptions not only chronicled celestial observations, but also revealed how these cultures wrestled with the divine and rational realms, depicting a fascinating era, echoing with curiosity and awe. Amidst the awe-inspiring, sometimes terrifying celestial displays, societies found unity and control. Kings and priests wielded cosmic fear as a tool, invoking divine mandates to bind communities under shared celestial tyranny. The mystical grandeur of the skies unified people under rituals cast to appease the gods' volatile temper. Yet even enshrouded in fear, some stood as fascinated observers, questioning and exploring the skies not just for divine messages, but for intrinsic beauty and cosmic truth. In bridging past interpretations with future inquiry, the legacies of Mesopotamia and Greece offer a comparative study. Mesopotamia clung resolutely to divine orthodoxy, while Greece began cultivating a culture that valued rational exploration alongside mythic tradition. These approaches to celestial understanding offer modern insight into how human curiosity has always interacted with the cosmic mystery. The contrast provides a rich historical context, reminding us that no single path delineates humanity's pursuit of knowledge, where ancient reverence for celestial wonder endures through today's scientific endeavours, echoing with the ancestral chant that first turned eyes skyward. In the ancient world, when the auroras of 660 BC streaked across the skies of Assyria and Greece, they were far from a mere enchanting sight. To the denizens living under these vivid skies, the luminous displays were ominous messengers from the divine. The initial shock of these celestial sights struck fear in the hearts of people who believe profoundly in the whims of gods manipulating human fate. This fear enveloped societies in a collective anxiety that knew no boundaries between kings and commoners. binding them in a shared dread of cosmic displeasure. Priests and monarchs staring upward interpreted these dancing lights as scoldings from above, portending war, famine, or plague. The reaction was a flurry of religious fervour, with sacrifices and prayers reverberating throughout the cities, as each community sought to placate their deity's apparent rage. The initial horror quickly turned into action as edicts were issued in both Assyria and Greece. Leaders orchestrated rituals and sacrifices with a sense of pressing urgency, believing these gestures vital for restoring cosmic harmony. Decrees demanded public participation in acts of devotion, sometimes involving animal or debatably even human sacrifices, offers to quell divine anger. The Chronicles of Assyria document these acts in intricate detail, laying out the logistics of sacrificial rites with altars and chosen offerings to soothe celestial tempests. In contrast, Greek city-states wove their own rituals, resonating with local deities, creating a varied but shared tapestry of supplication in the face of celestial trepidation. In this age of celestial uncertainty, rulers became narrative architects, crafting decrees that not only channeled public fear into organised ritual, but also reinforced their divine right to lead. In Assyria, inscriptions blended the king's administrative command with divine decrees, presenting him as the divine intermediary tasked with invoking celestial mercy. Similarly, Greek leaders marshalled their states with eloquent proclamations, carefully aligning religious observances with civic peace, exhibiting early examples of media control aimed at maintaining societal balance. These narratives served as both spiritual and state functions, dual pillars supporting the weight of cosmic disquiet. The Auroras painted celestial narratives that sang differently across the social spectrum. For the ruling elite, these manifestations strengthened the belief in their divine mandate. They orchestrated grand spectacles and sacrifices, leveraging divine favour to affirm their status as guardians between the heavenly and earthly realms. Benefiting from resources, the elite shaped the crisis to maintain their narratives of control and divine favour. Conversely, the lower classes, engulfed in raw panic, engaged in grassroots rituals that reflected their immediate fears, guided by local religious mentors who provided both solace and interpretation. These divergent reactions underscored the social fabric, where resources determined one's ability to negotiate with the divine. In a world where scribes, poets, and chroniclers wielded profound influence, the recordings of the Auroras were crucial in shaping how these phenomena were remembered. Assyrian chroniclers etched events in clay, ensuring future generations understood the divine-tempered dynamics of skyward spectacles. Greek chroniclers, mixing empirical observations with mythic narratives, immortalized these occurrences in enduring legend, intertwining terrestrial and celestial dances as enduring legacies. While superstition dominated the general populace's view, there emerged thinkers who dared to sift these experiences through reason's sieve. In both Assyrian and Greek cultures, nascent voices of skepticism began to question these heavenly displays, seeking natural explanations within the wrap of religious language to evade spiritual censure. Even cautiously, the seeds of inquiry hinted at an intellectual shift that transcended sheer superstition, nudging societies toward a gradual re-examination of cosmic laws. Amidst overarching fear, a metamorphosis unfolded as societies came to accept these celestial episodes. What began in panic slowly matured into an acceptance whereby communities wove these phenomena into their spiritual and temporal tapestry. It became an adaptive tradition, reflecting not just historical awe, but deeper reconciliation with the universe's unpredictability. Regular observance of such events transitioned from fear into acknowledgement, a mature resilience that marked the evolution of celestial understanding. This celestial confrontation was a defining trial for leaders, thrust into dual roles as both spiritual mediators and pragmatic rulers. The events tested their ability to manage cosmic fears through faith while also employing tactical governance. Leaders were judged not only by their responses to terrestrial threats, but also by their calm in steering their societies through divinely charged storms, a legacy shaping leadership's perception in the ancient world. Finally, the Auroras cultivated cultural synthesis between Assyrians and Greeks, sparking dialogue through shared cosmic experiences. As philosophical and ritualistic ideas cross-pollinated, a unique intellectual tapestry emerged, enriching both civilizations' understanding of the cosmos. These auroras were not just past wonders, but mutual catalysts for a broader engagement with the universe, awakening a cosmopolitan spirit where diverse thought systems combine to deepen collective insight, reminding us of humanity's timeless wonder and desire to understand our cosmic milieu. The story of Assyria and the Greek city-states in the 7th century BC unfolds as a historical tapestry, woven with the threads of contrast and convergence. At this time, Assyria towered as a colossus over the Near East, its empire stretching far and wide, a testament to its military prowess and cultural influence. Within its capital, Nineveh, lay a world of opulent palaces, where the narratives of divine kings and celestial omens played out in intricate reliefs and murals. Here, power was ordained by the heavens, every celestial event interpreted as a divine communique, affirming their ruler's destiny and guiding their decisions in war and peace. In contrast, across the Aegean, the Greek city-states blossomed independently, each a jewel in a complex mosaic of emerging culture. They lacked Assyria's territorial expanse but nurtured intellectual curiosity, which would later spark an unparalleled renaissance. Under the divine canopy of the sky, these states were beginning to challenge the old perceptions. Philosophers and thinkers, like Thales and Anaximander, questioned the divine narratives, daring to propose rational explanations for phenomena like solar storms and auroras. While Assyria saw these events as divine endorsements scrawled across the sky, Greeks began to view them through the burgeoning lens of inquiry and observation. Assyria's empire was powerfully symbolic, where Nineveh stood as a bastion of their greatness. The Assyrian king, a divine proxy, orchestrated a grand narrative of celestial phenomena, recorded meticulously by royal astrologers. These celestial happenings were not mere curiosities, but powerful symbols that reinforced the societal order, weaving divine endorsement through every facet of life, from administrative decisions to sacred ceremonies. While the skies painted colours across Assyria, they were seen as both mystifying and legitimizing forces, aligning the heavens beneath the king's feet and ensuring his dominion. Meanwhile, in Greece, the seeds of intellectual awakening were being sown amid a landscape of myth and tradition. In bustling agoras and sacred sanctuaries, celestial events sparked debate, questioning their true nature and the forces behind them. This was a time when discussions shifted from mythological interpretations to philosophical inquiries, with debates that laid the groundwork for scientific exploration. Even amid their myths, Greek thinkers dared to imagine a world governed not solely by divine decree, but by logical inquiry and natural laws. Yet celestial occurrences were more than philosophical musings. They deeply influenced daily life in both societies. For the Assyrian people, auroras were woven into the fabric of their existence, intertwined with festivals and market days, turned into public spectacles prompting sacrifices and rituals. In Greece, life revolved around the rhythm of the stars, marking agricultural cycles, while burgeoning artisans and philosophers contemplated the universe beyond myth, scribing notes and observations that would echo through time. The flow of ideas across these civilizations was as vibrant as it was vital, carried by merchants, scholars, and travellers. They exchanged stories and interpretations of celestial events, alongside trade goods like grain and wine. Assyrian astrological charts mingled with Greek philosophical thought, creating a cultural hybrid where mutual curiosity thrived. This exchange illuminated shared awe at the cosmos and revealed how interpretations could transcend seeming boundaries. Yet irony persisted within this interplay of celestial significance. Assyrians held these events as proof of divine will, justifying earthly maneuvers with godly endorsements. Even as these interpretations were twisted by human ambition, Greeks on the parallel path embraced uncertainty, favouring inquiry over decreed certainty. Their questioning spirit allowed rational thought to step cautiously into the spotlight, counterpoising the celestial reverence that Syria clung to. This duality underscored the enduring struggle between certainty and curiosity, profit and puzzle, authority and exploration. For all the divergence, both societies shared a collection of superstitions tied to the skies. The Assyrians detailed elaborate systems of omens on tablets, advising on celestial events and their impact on life. Every flicker in the sky was a code, deciphered by priests shaping activities across fields and battlefields. Greeks wove celestial events into their myths, assigning them divine narratives, yet with a growing desire to unravel these stories into threads of logic and reason. Ultimately, these ancient narratives hold lessons that echo into our modern world. Assyria's rulership through celestial interpretation, a powerful commentary on the linkage between belief and power, mirrors today's political scaffolding, where stories built around unknowns still hold sway. Greece stepping towards inquiry reminds us of the importance of questioning, the bedrock for future philosophies and sciences. Both civilizations, through their celestial narratives, highlight humanity's perpetual quest to understand the universe, underscoring our persistent wonder. In retelling these stories and exploring their significance, we bridge ancient and modern eras, finding relevance in discussions about the cosmos. These narratives, whether of Assyria's divine certainties or Greece's probing queries, invite us to ponder our sky's meaning. As we continue to reach beyond the stars, these ancient tales serve as a compass, guiding our pursuit of knowledge, anchoring our awe in a history shared across generations. The auroras of 660 BC did more than illuminate ancient skies. They ignited imaginations and seeded myths that would echo through generations. In a world where the divine painted the heavens, these celestial wonders became more than natural phenomena. They were messages, omens woven into the tapestry of myth and memory. As we embark on this journey, we explore how these breathtaking displays became enduring tales, passed down through ages, a testament to the human drive to understand and awe at the mysteries above. Long before the written word etched stories in stone, oral tradition was the lifeline of cultural memory. In Mesopotamia, where gods communicated through the sky, storytellers spun these luminous arcs into narratives filled with religious significance. The Greeks, too, immortalised such wonders in the epic verses of poets like Homer and Hesiod, blending the divine with earthly existence. Here in these ancient verses, we find a mingling of wonder and explanation, curiosity and faith, as humanity grappled with the dazzling messages in the sky. The Babylonian astronomical diaries stand as a remarkable testament to the power of ancient observation. These clay tablets, etched with precision by Babylonian astronomers, captured not just scientific insights but cultural narratives. The auroras, when observed, were not just beautiful but prophetic, blending scrupulous notes with the weight of omen, a divine handwriting deciphered by the ancients, meant to guide and warn. These chronicles transcended their own time, becoming guideposts for descendants seeking to understand the heavens' role in shaping human destiny. In Greece, the auroras found their place among the verses of poets and musings of philosophers. Their literary heritage wove these celestial events into the stories that defined a people's identity. For the Greeks, nature and myth were inseparable threads, and the auroras danced into their literature as symbols, metaphors, powerful agents shaping both mythic and very personal journeys. Even as thinkers like Anaximander sought to untangle nature from myth, their inquiries only added depth to the narrative, enriching tales with the allure of both mystery and discovery. Oral tradition, acting as a vigilant keeper of the past, enshrined these stories within the heart of communal life. The auroras, perceived as divine omens, anchored village gatherings around flickering campfires, and resounded in the measured voice of elders, retelling tales of wonder and warning. Each recounting sculpted the narrative further, bridging centuries as vivid stories vibrantly leapt from one generation to the next, ensuring their survival amidst changing times. The transcription of these oral stories marked a pivotal transition. As civilizations grew, the need for preserving tales beyond the lifespan of a storyteller became essential. Scribes carefully caught these auroral stories with quill and tablet, translating the oral tradition into written form, solidifying their permanence in history's archive. Challenges of dialect and interpretation meant shifts in narrative, yet this adaptation allowed these stories to reach further shores, inviting cross-cultural connections through shared celestial marvels. Scholars and historians tasked with the stewardship of these narratives examined auroral stories with keen intellect and reverence. Written records, whether on clay or papyrus, provided text to be read and reread, interpreted anew by each generation of thinkers. The challenge lay in balancing the supernatural with emergent scientific inquiry, a pursuit that simultaneously revered ancient context and sought rational clarity, elucidating these cosmic events' roles in the broader human saga. The exchange between Mesopotamian and Greek cultures richly cross-pollinated these tales. As trade routes carried goods, they also transported stories, swirling cultural narratives into a melting pot of interpretation. These celestial tales, once local, found resonance in foreign lands, crafted anew by local custom and belief, becoming a kaleidoscope of myth and history. Thus, the auroras blossomed into shared human experience, binding disparate cultures under a common sky. Religion inevitably cast its enduring influence on these stories, framing auroras in sacred light. In both Mesopotamia and Greece, the cosmos was an extension of the divine realm, and the auroras carried the whispers of deities. Such narratives were enshrined within their religious texts and rituals, infusing them with sacred reverence and securing their place within the living fabric of faith. As theological perspectives evolved, so too did auroral interpretations, prompting contemplation and ritual that safeguarded these celestial stories through centuries. The evolution in interpreting auroras reflects humanity's broader intellectual journey, from mystical to scientific. As societies grew curious, the wonder of the auroras morphed into inquiry, opening new pathways of understanding. Even as these lights shifted from divine messages to celestial phenomena, their mythic roots enriched their appeal, contouring a narrative that juxtaposed ancient awe with modern wonder, a fitting testament to the endless human desire to decipher and demystify the natural world. Today, the timelessness of auroral tales continues to capture our imagination, posing questions of existence and mystery that stir our innermost curiosity. In retelling these stories, we link past to present, embracing a heritage of wonder that challenges our modern perceptions and reignites our exploration of the cosmos. As echoes from ancient skies, these tales remind us of a shared humanity, bound by the same celestial wonders, forever inspiring connection and contemplation across the span of history and time. The shadows of time are illuminated by the celestial spectacle of 660 BC, a solar storm witnessed by ancient eyes and interpreted as divine messages, foreboding and mysterious. In this drama played out in the heavens, Assyrians and Greeks looked skyward, their imaginations gripped by scenes of fiery luminescence. For these ancient peoples, the skies were not simply empty space, but the canvas of the gods, revealing their displeasure or favour through celestial omens. Decisions of state, warfare and worship were all swayed by the perceived whims of deities, underscoring the profound impact of these heavenly displays. Today, with centuries of scientific progress, we understand these fiery apparitions as solar storms, eruptions from our sun emitting flares and particles into the cosmic sea. Yet, even with our modern insights, there's a bridge that spans from ancient belief to contemporary science, where the echoes of those first interpretations still hold sway. We utilise satellites and solar monitors, technology that ancient stargazers could scarcely conceive, to predict and mitigate the effects of these cosmic tempests on our technological world. The puzzle of the sun's often capricious behaviour is unravelled one piece at a time, serving to protect our infrastructure and link the awe of the past with the knowledge of today. The ancients, mystified by these celestial events, laid the groundwork for humanity's unending curiosity about the universe. They inspired an eternal questioning of our place in the cosmos, a question still asked beneath today's sophisticated telescopes. They observed bright streaks across the night, seen as divine and unfathomable, while we now study them as the solar winds dance. Yet what remains is not merely scientific knowledge, but the shared wonder that binds us across millennia. This enduring fascination propels our exploration, uniting the ancient philosopher Thales with the modern astronomer. Even beyond the boundaries of science, these solar storms continue to influence humanity. Historical recounts show that, with every awe-filled gasp at the heavens, fear and reverence shape societies. These reactions, once believed to appease or emulate gods, now find parallels in modern preparedness and scientific vigilance. The auroras of Mesopotamia and Greece, once terror-inducing omens, have become subjects for study, reflecting a journey from myth to method. Superstitions of old were woven into the cultural fabric of the time, a time where celestial dramatics directed earthly affairs through tales of reverence and fear. The fishermen, farmers and warriors, upon seeing the heavens alight, would turn to myths that blurred the line between the natural and the supernatural. While today's arithmetic of the stars has replaced some of these myths, the stories reveal a psychological depth that speaks to the human condition. This transition from the mystical to the empirical chronicles not just how far we've come, but highlights an unyielding curiosity about the universe. Scientists today, though armed with equations and data, dance the same cosmic story. The enchantment and terror once explored by Assyrian priests and Greek thinkers continue to fuel our gaze, reminding us that the more we learn, the more wondrous the universe becomes. Interpreting the skies, ancient people developed narratives that governed actions, dictated destinies, and shrouded each new dawn in expectancy. Stars and planets were thought to influence mortal destinies directly, a notion that framed calendars and commanded civic decisions. Modern scientists, in their quest for understanding, piece together the dependencies of the sun on our lives, now through the lens of technology rather than myth. Despite the arsenal of technology and methods available now, our attempt to decode the heavens shares the very same roots that led early astronomers to mark the skies in clay. From mythology to mathematics, today's explorations continue that legacy, underpinning a relentless drive for understanding that transcends time. The ancients, captivated by these phenomena, initiated a line of inquiry that would lay the philosophical groundwork for future scientific endeavours. While their knowledge was simple compared to modern standards, the way those civilizations related to their universe can still teach us not only about who they were, but about who we are. The stars and lights that once portended great change continue to guide us today. In this seamless journey from ignorance to comprehension, humanity's desire to learn endures, unbroken and unbowed. What began in fear evolved into a sophisticated pursuit of knowledge. Humanity's journey from gazing in terror at a complex sky to mapping its intricacies marks a trajectory of growth. Modernity frees us from myth's shroud. Yet the magnificence and enormity of what birthed such legends still command our reverence. As much as we comprehend, the universe's boundlessness retains mystery, inviting us yet closer to its secrets. Even within the arts and culture, themes of divine communication and celestial tension illustrate their lasting mark. Stories of omens and ethereal lights are not just literary fantasies, but symbolic reflections that continue inspiring art and literature, proof of mythology's potent endurance. Such narratives shape our understanding of existence itself, resonating through time. As we elucidate the components of solar phenomena, we are ever mindful of their enduring significance, a marker not only of our past but a guide to our future. Recognizing these mysteries allows for their transcendence, enhancing both scientific revelations and our sense of shared human wonder. Here in these stories that arc from ancient civilizations to today's world lies the crux of our universal quest: to know, to discover, and forever to wonder. And as this chapter, and indeed this journey, draws to a close, may it find you further intrigued by the storied past and the luminous skies above. If you found this voyage through time and celestial wonder enlightening, consider supporting us by liking and subscribing to the channel, joining us as we continue to explore these timeless stories etched into the fabric of history and the stars.